It's a cold, harsh winter. Two travelers head through the mountains there, attacked, but one of them uses some sort of power to defeat the shadowy attackers, but seems to lose the other young traveler. That was centuries ago, and there's a much more modern story to tell. Or should I say, legend. This is Legends of Amora. It follows Kipper, a young creature. She's an orphan, and her brother is called Xavier. Kipper is investigating an old statue, and she says it's Queen Amora, but Xavier, who's trying to drag her back to town, says it's way too old to be her. After they're gone, a shadowy figure slices the head of the statue off. Back at the shelter, Kipper is talking about how she thinks that Queen Amora isn't named after a hero from the past, but instead is the same person. In the morning, though, she realizes she's late to her school, and misses class where the Queen was visiting. Yikes. Because of that, she has to explain to the Queen everything that she learned in that history class. She doesn't have her textbook with her, instead having 400-plus-year-old book. She tries to deny, the Queen tries to deny, what she is, but can't, and has to explain that if everybody knew, no one would be safe. Kipper doesn't understand. Xavier is the only other person that knows about this, though, that just thinks his sister is crazy. Kipper is removed from school. They're both going to live in the castle now. Kipper meets Diane, and Amora walks away with Xavier. Diane starts a tour and starts making a list of things Kipper has to do. Number one is to let Diane know everywhere she goes before going there. Kipper talks about her past and how her parents split up and abandoned her, and she retreated into that book. Diane already knows. Diane shows her the library. She's only allowed to be inside when Diane or her tutor is inside. She meets her tutor, and he's known as Sir Cedric. He's a snake, which you can probably see on screen. Diane shows Kipper to her room where she will stay until dinner. She falls asleep because of magic. That dark figure from before returns, still in the woods, plotting Amora's downfall, talking to someone that looks very dead. It ends tonight. Some powerful being wakes up Kipper, only not to be seen. Nobody knows she was there. Nobody knows he was there. She finds a secret passage, witnessing a conversation between Diane and Cedric. It's revealed that Amora is the child of Shapers, which created the world, and that's why she's lived so long. And she's kept people away for 200 years now. Or Diane's been keeping them from her. Diane probably ages slower, and she's already old. She sees Kipper as dangerous and wants to get rid of her. Cedric believes Amora needs Kipper, and she arrives and says her heart is closed off. But there's definitely a bit of care there. Xavier was told that none of the stuff about Amora was true, and when Kipper leaves the passage, he tries to burn the book. Strange person that woke Kipper up tells her to dive for it. She does and goes through a portal. Now Kipper is in Amora's bedroom. She hides. Amora cries at the mirror, sad that her father is gone. Kipper comes out of hiding and gives her a hug. Amora is shocked. What? How? The door was locked. Kipper runs, crying as well now. She's caught by a guard who brings her to Cedric. So it turns out that teleportation, Xavier was going crazy trying to explain it. Cedric understands it must be magic. The other person here that can do that is Amora. Kipper can do a bit of the same magic somehow. Amora barges into the room Cedric is talking to the siblings in, upset. She didn't see the magic and want Cedric to keep an eye on Kipper so she doesn't wander again. He immediately looks away and sends her to her room to get dressed. She finds a very strange creature in there that says Kipper's powers were given to her by Amora, and that power should have been his. He is Amora's brother, and he mentions Suri and Solus. He leaves. That was Titus. Suri and Solus are both their parents. They're not in the book. Diane comes in and gives her new clothing. Fancy, but not too fancy. Kipper loves it and hugs her, but gets pushed away. Dinner is silent. Kipper left with her thoughts. She tries to mention Titus, but Amora brings up Kipper's invasion again. She runs off, and Amora has feels instant guilt. Xavier runs after Kipper to support her. A shadowy figure appears again in the castle this time. Xavier identifies her as the Night Lady who steals children. It is revealed that she is Amora's sister as well. Amora has 2 siblings and is fascinated by Kipper's power and despises Amora. She sort of hypnotizes Xavier and tries to get Kipper to show her magic. But Kipper doesn't even know how to use it voluntarily, though. But she tries. After a bit of being manipulated, she can't still. And the things that hurt her the most appear. Her parents. Her father with the money and power, but no love for anyone, and her mother, hopelessly addicted to alcohol, all out on the streets. If she destroys them, she'll have all the power and is shown her mother's soul. Just a tiny little speck of love for her children there. She doesn't kill her mother. Time freezes, and she sees her future self who says this will help her. She calls the Night Lady Jal, and that is her actual name. She wants the same thing for Kipper, to make this same choice, but instead Kipper gives her wreck of a mother a blanket cut from a curtain. No matter how much she's been hurt, she chooses kindness. This enrages Jal, who sends Kipper back to the castle and tries to take the magic, but it is too pure for her to touch. It's not Titus's magic, it's Solus. She can't have that magic, so she'll just kill Kipper instead. Xavier snaps out of it and fights to protect his sister. He pushes Kipper away, and Jal impales Xavier. Now Diane saves Kipper. She will fight Jal as well. She alerts the guards all about to fight Jal. Kipper runs for Amora while Diane starts to hallucinate people she knows, but disappointed in her. Kipper reaches Amora and tries to warn her. She succeeds. But the guards are dropping like flies. It's a battle all between the two, and Jal was the one that killed Solus and Suri. Amora knocks the monster down, but she is not out of power yet. Not even close. She pulls out her weapon, a glowing blue scythe, and it belonged to Suri. Amora has shown the people all brought down, including the person she took in before, Kipper and Xavier. And this one knew nothing about Amora's power. and has been dead for quite some time. That's not really Rosetta. Rosetta is already dead, is not coming back even as a spirit. That was her in the forest. That was what was left of her. She tries to convince Andorra to give in, but Andorra isn't fooled. She strikes Jal, but Jal takes Andorra down as well. But Kipper refuses to let the story end like this, as she takes Andorra's weapon, which belonged to Solus in the past, and points it towards Jal. Jal charges, but everything slows down, and the voice from before tells Kipper what to do. She falls through a portal and stabs Jal in the back. Jal, now beaten, teleports away. Andorra wakes up. She has the same thing that... She has something that can revive everyone that died in this fight, but it also takes her powerful or for it to work. But she'll get it back, but the item used for it is gone for good. Last of Suri's magic was in that. Andorra vows to be better for her kids. There's also the Beauregard, who was introduced. He actually fought off a lot of cultists, single-handedly. Cedric seems to want to brag for how he helped, but he was hiding the whole time. Kipper talks to Andorra about the magic she has, which she possibly always had. Andorra actually did take away Titus's magic and felt guilty. She hit her horns with her magic, as they are a sign of how powerful the person's magic is. I don't know if I'm crazy or something, but I think Kipper's horns grew a bit since the start. Diane is ordered to get lots of her own species to investigate and to wipe soldiers' memories of the incident. What was I reading again? Right. Before Kipper can sleep, Diane gives her a blank book for her to write her own stories in. We get to hear a bit more about after a lot of Diane's speech are around, and Cedric is teaching Kipper more about her own magic, but meanwhile, Titus and someone known as Dorian find Jal. She's unconscious and her eyes are no longer glowing. They both blame Andorra. That is how Chapter 1 ends. Hope to see you all again soon. Peace.